Hey everybody, welcome back to Black Talent TV's Look Who's Next. Of course, you guys know it's your girl Simone Jackson here to bring you guys another great episode of Look Who's Next. As you guys all know, Look Who's Next is a podcast where we have engaging conversation with entertainment people in the industry. So I'm actually really excited about our next guest for today. She's an actress and she starred in Angie Tribeca and ER, and she's going to be starring in Independent. She started Independence Day Insurgent. I'm really excited to be having her on the show because she'll be starring in one of my favorite shows, which is Angie Tribeca, and she's also starring in a new show on Netflix called Atypical. So everyone, please give a big warm welcome to our guest for today, Miss Angel Laketa Moore. Hi, Angel.
Hi, thank you for having me, Simone.
Of course. Thank you for being on here. Like I said, I'm really excited to be talking to you today. We're really glad you took the time to come and talk to us. I know you got a very busy schedule, so I appreciate you taking your time. I'm just really glad to have you on here today.
Oh, no problem.
Perfect. So, Miss Angel, me and you will start off with our interview. So, of course, my first question for you is, where did this passion for acting begin with you?
You know what? This is it's such a silly answer, but it is very much so the truth. I grew up like a lot of Black people watching The Cosby Show, and I'm around the same age as Keisha Knight Polian, who's also a soror of mine, but she played Rudy. And I remember watching the show and being like, I want to do what this little girl is doing. As a little girl, I was like 5 years old. And from there it grew, and then I really didn't other than church plays when I was little, I didn't really get into trying to see if I could act until middle school. Then I started doing school plays, and then I went to a high school that was partially just a regular public school, and then a small part of it was an actual performing arts school that you had to major to get into. And I'd already gotten into dance by that time, so I was kind of exposed to the world of performing for real, and I sang in the church choir. But it was there that I really started to truly get into acting. And then I majored in it in college because, I loved it so much. I have always been the goofy one in my family, the jokester in my family. So I've always loved to make people laugh, but also love the craft of acting, of being able to take someone else's words or your own words if you wrote them and transform into something else, but more importantly, affect an audience of people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like how you have a connection with the Cosbys, because I too have a connection with the Cosbys. My name was inspired by Raven Simone, so I definitely feel you. Yeah, I definitely feel you. I'm telling you, Cosbys can change lives. Cosby Show changed.
They're good. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So I have to ask, as an actress, what type of roles do you gravitate to? Do you like comedy? Are we more drama? Horror? What do you gravitate to?
I love it all, but I definitely know I have a niche in comedy just because I hear the funny in most things, even things that other people would not know there was something comedic in it. I'll find it. It might even be inappropriate to find it because I'm the type that might accidentally laugh at a funeral. And that's only because there might be something there that actually has a comedic thing to it that you're not supposed to actually point out because it's a funeral. So comedy, more so because it's like a little bit of a puzzle, because I love to find the jokes. I like to find the jokes that the writers obviously wrote, but I also like to find the jokes that weren't written in there, but I can see them with my own two eyes and play those jokes as well. So it's fun. And in comedy, it's just so much fun. I love drama and I'm able to do it. I can give you tears. I can connect with people. I'm a very heart-driven person, so it's not far for me to do, but I get joy out of making people laugh. So comedic roles are definitely where I'm drawn to.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I'm right there with you, being that type of person that will laugh at a funeral. I'll laugh at a funeral. I'll laugh really loud at a library. It just, I will be that person, happily. Because you're right. It is important. I really like your answer, because I do believe it is important to find, especially in the darkest time, it is so important to find a little bit of light that makes people smile or laugh, because it really is a game changer. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Making people laugh can really change their life. It can really give their whole attitude, a whole 360, and it could just,
Yeah.
it's a positive change.
I was actually today, talking to one of my good girlfriends who's also an actress, Denora Walcott, and we did a little silly dance on Instagram to Little Duval's Best Life, which is like the song that everybody is listening to right now. And she was like, oh my God, I never listened to this whole song. This is hilarious. I love it. I said, he has been getting emails and like messages and DMs from people who are like, yo, you don't understand. I was almost suicidal. And then this song ended up coming on and ended up making me laugh. And it was enough relief for me to get out of that dark place. It was enough relief to get my mind back on track. And people, think, jokes are just jokes, but they are medicine. You know what I'm saying? They can be medicine to someone's soul. And I don't take that lightly.
And that's good. And I love that. And what was that song called again? Because I will definitely make sure I go over there and Spotify or Google it. What was that song?
Oh, it's called Living My Best Life. It is, I'm just going to forewarn you now, it's an explicit song, but in the same vein that it's explicit, it is hilarious. And it's just literally what it is. I'm living my best life. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with y'all. I ain't going to be arguing with y'all. I am going to live my best life. And it's Little Duval, who's a comedian, and then Snoop Dogg is one of the rappers on it. And then there's another guy, I can't remember his name. But the song itself is hilarious because you're like, since Eddie Murphy, comedians have not been putting out albums for people to listen to sing to. But, Kevin Hart did do it. But this song is it's so funny. It's so good.
Oh, I will make sure to check that out. And I encourage at Black Talent TV, if you guys don't know, check it out as well. Lil Duval, you said, correct? Living My Best Life?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm definitely going to make sure I check that out because I've been a Lil Duval for a very long time. So I will definitely make sure I check that out. That sounds like it's going to be hilarious.
Yes. It is. You're going to die when you hear it.
Oh, I can't wait. After this interview, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Exactly what I'm going to do. So, Angel, just to get back on track, what would you say? What would you say is the most difficult part about being an actress?
It's crazy because the game has changed a lot since I got into the field. When I was getting my master, I got my bachelor's and master's in acting. It was truly all about the craft. It was about me honing my craft, wanting to make sure that anytime I worked as an actress that I knew how to bring my A game. And, that's what it was all about. It's just whoever had the best audition would get the role. Well, things have shifted some now, and not all for the worse and not all for the better. So what I mean by that is that now it's not always about who has the best audition, because we have now producers and networks have something that they can actually see. They can see visual numbers of people who find you interesting due to social media. So you could possibly be a phenomenal actress, but not a social media personality. So you might not have any followers, but you could potentially lose it to someone who is a really great social media personality and entertaining and has used that to leverage themselves and get a lot of numbers of people to follow them. And a network takes that seriously because that's just like, oh, hopefully your audience will watch whatever you do. So the hardest part is trying to find the balance in that now is like, okay, I am a talented actress. I don't want to have to sell my soul, to get followers on Instagram. But I also know now that's a part of the business. That's why it's called show business. There are business aspects that have nothing to do with the craft that you can't just ignore because you don't want to have to handle it or don't want to have to deal with it. And that's been hard. Luckily for me, I do enjoy some of the things that come with being a social media influencer. I do love, I've become an inspirational speaker places, and I love being able to share that via social media. And, like I said, I love making people laugh, and I don't care what platform that's on. I don't care if that's on television. I don't care if that's on stage when I'm doing stand-up. I don't care if that's in a play or via Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. So luckily, I'm not as hesitant, but I can understand if you're an actress that's not your thing, or an actor that it just becomes a thing of like, I don't want to have to work on this little part of what's now part of show business just because, I've got to prove to producers that people enjoy me. You know what I'm saying? So It's hard.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard. It's no longer just simply, going to an audition and hoping, you get the part. You're right. It is now a whole different entity where social media is a huge part. And, you got to have, for some networks and some producers and stuff, you got to have the followers, because they feel more followers, they'll watch you. And then, of course, we all know if people watch you, then that's where the money will come from. So, yeah, it is
Yeah.
definitely a different game changer from what I'm definitely, used to actors saying, it used to be just an audition process. Now, social media has become so involved with it that, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I do feel like it has become too involved to where the point where, like you just made the point where it's not about the craft anymore. It's more about the followers. And do
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
person really sell their soul in order to get, to get a level of fame so where they can get more work? I definitely understand your feeling on that. It's a very complex relationship.
Right. And this is not to take any dig at people who their career is just being a social media influencer, or it was just that and they become actors, because there are some people who are in social media that are so talented and they do translate well onto screen. Woody, who plays, who's in the biopic for Bobby Brown, he came from the world of social media, and he's a great, like, I've enjoyed him so much in the New Edition story. So there are some people where you're just like, no, you really are going to find a gem in these things. But for me, having to come into this industry, work some years, and then see it switch before I felt like I established myself to just be like, you ain't got to worry about Angel's numbers. She's going to kill whatever you give her. But I don't feel like I got to establish myself in that way prior to the switch. So you have people who don't have to worry about their numbers because their resume, their work, they're known well enough in the industry that they never have to worry about that. I, however, and a lot of my peers, we do have to worry about it, which is a shame.
Right. No, you're right. It is. Like I said, it's a very complex thing, but it is like we just pointed out, it is getting more about the followers than it is about the craft. And if you don't have a certain amount of followers, but you're an amazing actress, people are never going to know that because, they see you got a small following amount and they're like, no, but, she could have a brilliant resume, but they're never going to know if she has small amount of followers.
Yeah. It's, I mean, there's luckily still people out there who they don't care. They just want to see a good performance. But it can definitely, if you only got 20,000 and somebody come in there with 1 million and they do, all right enough, there's a good chance that they gonna get it off of all right enough, where you got to come in there with an Oscar award-winning performance.
Exactly.
To convince them otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It is, like we just said, it's a very complex relationship with the social media and acting and getting the jobs. It's very complex like you said, it's not for the better, it's not for the worse, just complex. We'll just say that.
There you go. That's the best way to put it. Yep.
So I am really excited because I did mention earlier in the introduction, you are going to be guest starring on the show, Angie Tribeca.
Yes.
I'm very excited because it's one of my favorite shows. I'm so excited for it to be coming back. Can you give us a little dish without giving us too much about your character on the show?
Oh, okay. Well, what's so fun? First, I'm gonna kind of backtrack on how I even got the role, because I didn't audition for this role. I didn't audition at all. They just offered me the role, and I was like, what? And I'm a huge fan. I was like, and it's like a good, juicy guest star. So I was just so shocked. The women who cast this show are the same women who cast the show Blackish, and I recurred on Blackish last season as their new nanny. And they just became really big supporters of mine. And anytime they could find a role for me to play, they would call my people up and be like, we want to offer Angel this, or can you send Angel's reel because we think we have a role for her and we want to send it to the producers. So this role came up, and I'm getting to do something, and I can't tell you what it is, but I'm getting to do something in this episode. I'm in the season premiere that I've always wanted to do. That is so different than put it like it's the character is a character that I've played before. The character is I think I can at least say the character is a nurse. I think I can get away with saying that. So I've played nurses many a times. I can play a nurse in my sleep. I can give you fake medical jargon all day long. But this character is doing something, and that's the part I can't mention, that none of the characters I've ever played would have been able to get to do. If only in the world of Angie Tribeca would this type of character get to do the thing that she gets to do, and it's so badass yet hilarious at the same time. So like I was elated when I read the script. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And the cast was amazing. I got to work. The director of that episode is also the executive producer, Ira, and he was so amazing to work with. And yeah, just the whole cast they were all very sweet. Like I said, Rashida, she was just amazing. You never know. Like, getting to work with Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross on Blackish, as well as all the kids, was like amazing. And they were all sweet. That cast and crew is like a family. So, when you come into a family, it can sometimes be intimidating because you all know each other really well. And y'all don't know me. I mean, I'm so glad to be here, but I don't want to disrupt anything. I just want to like slide in carefully. So it's kind of the same thing with Angie Tribeca. I was just like, you all, know each other, and I've been a fan of Rashida's, and I'm just like, you never want for the person that you really looked up to not be what you hope they are in your head. And she was even nicer than what I would have ever thought. Like, I was just like, this woman is so sweet. Like, I love her. So it was great. It was great.
Oh, I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'll definitely be tuning in once it premieres. I'm so excited. It sounds like you got a really, really great role in that show, and I'm glad to hear that Rashida is everything as amazing as we thought. Because here at Blacktown TV, we of course love Rashida, so we're glad to see that she's just as sweet and sounds just amazing. So that has to be incredible.
Yes, it really was. I'm telling you, everybody I've worked with, they've like even Tracy, she was amazing. Anthony was amazing on Blackish, and then Rashida, she just was like the cherry on top. I was like, oh my God! And then it was so crazy that I went directly from working on Blackish to working on Angie Tribeca to work with the children of two legends. To work with the child of Diana Ross and then the daughter of Quincy Jones. I was just like, this
right? Ooh, look at these shoulders with some legends already. Look at you. I didn't even think of it that way.
I was like, oh, I did. Like every day. I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
I get it. I would totally feel fancy and, upper class as well.
Right.
I was able to work with two of the most gifted, human beings to be put on this earth, and then to get to work with their offspring. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing. And it'd be so funny because Rashida would say something like, my dad, like she would just, say, he's saying something, and I'd be like, I know who your daddy is, and you just calling him daddy. Like, this is amazing. Yeah, it was.
I love it.
It was great. It was great.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Oh, I would just die with just pure happiness. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, this is incredible. This is incredible.
It was great.
Oh,
it was great.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Awesome. So, Miss Angel, I want to make sure our Blacktown TV audience follows you and follows your work. Where can they go to do that?
Okay, well, I am all over the place, so it won't be hard to find me. I use the handle on most social media platforms, That Chick Angel. I call myself that because I do so much stuff. I'm that chick. I'm that chick that'll do all the stuff. So you can find That Chick Angel on Instagram. I am on Facebook as That Chick Angel, as well as I have two Facebook watch pages. One is called Mommy Confessions, and the other one is Monday Motivation, where I try to inspire you to have your best week ever and to pursue your goals and to love yourself. And then I'm also on YouTube, where I do a podcast as well with my husband. It's called Is This Going to Cause an Argument? And because we usually are arguing sometime in the middle of the podcast, but that's on YouTube. You can find that also with That Chick Angel, but you can also listen to it on iTunes under Is This Gonna Cause an Argument? So I'm all over the place. You can find me. I ain't hard to find.
Ooh, okay. Make sure you guys check her out. Make sure you try to check out the podcast. It sounds like it'd be a great one. I mean, a married couple who kind of argues on the podcast. I mean, who doesn't love that? It sounds like it was. It sounds like it's great though. Sounds like you guys have a good balance with that. So definitely.
It is. It's fun.
Oh yeah, podcast. Another podcaster to another. Of course, I know it is fun. Doing this is definitely a lot of fun. Besides the role on Angie Tribeca, can you give us a little more dish on your role on Netflix, Atypical?
Okay, so Atypical. Again, this was I can't even, to get this role was absolutely just mind blowing. I recur in season 2. So season 1 has already been out. The show Atypical, for people who don't know, it kind of follows a family that has a son who is on the spectrum. He's autistic, and that's what they call it. You don't think typically, you think atypically. So his thinking is a little different than your, just average person. And I get to work with the always controversial, but I love him, Michael Rapport, who I've been a fan of his since even before Higher Learning. And I can't spill the beans completely on what all my character gets into, but I play a mother of an autistic daughter on the show, and which is what I didn't know the show prior to auditioning for it. Once I got the appointment to audition for it, I was like, oh, let me watch the show, and I really loved it. It's only a half hour, but it has the feeling of an hour show, but without you spending all the time having to watch it. Really great acting. And my niece, Portia, who lives in Kentucky, she's done a lot of work with children on the spectrum. She does a lot of work with children with special needs. So this was one of the shows that she really loved because she felt like they did a very good depiction of what it's like to have someone autistic in your family or work with someone autistic without playing at it. She felt like they did a really good job of researching before putting this autistic character, because the actor who plays the role of the autistic child, the main child, he is not autistic himself. So she just felt like, my niece felt like they did such a good job in their research of it. So I get to play the mother of an autistic daughter. And while all of my children, as far as I know, are, they're not autistic, they're not on the spectrum, they're just regular old boys, I can only imagine the stress that a parent goes through when your child might have some extra struggles just because of how they were born, not because of, anything else, like the worries that a Black mom has raising Black boys, but to have another layer of something of just knowing you might have to put in some extra work just to make sure that they're going to be okay once they become adults. And sometimes they might not be okay by themselves. You might always have to be, extra hands-on with them in order for them to be able to live some sort of resemblance of a normal life, a happy life. So to be able to play, in this, I've been a mom for almost 9 years. So being a mom is nothing new, but being a mom that has this extra thing on her plate, it was nice to be able to jump into this. And again, to work with Michael Rapport, I was just it's so weird to go from watching people in movies and watching them on TV to then being and I'm working with this person, and I'm not working with this person to the point where they're just it's so weird. And then I'm not working with them to the point of oh yeah, I kind of remember you, but nah, Michael Rapport know who the heck I am. We work together. So it was really great. And I got to work with the people, the writers on the show are mostly women. The executive producer, the showrunner are women. So that was great because I also write. So to be with some just real badass women that are at the helm of the ship. And one of the directors that I worked with, I got to work with on Blackish as well. So to get to work with this Black male director who's young and just popping, and to get to work with him on 2 shows, it made me really look oh, Angel be working. We ran into each other again. I don't just work some of the time, I work all the time. So it's a great show, and it's not I don't feel like it gets enough like promotion that it should, as far as in I feel like more people should know about the show because it is so good. It's serious, but it has enough lightheartedness to it that it just I just wish more people knew about it because I feel like they would fall in love with it. It's so good.
Well, I definitely encourage the Black Talent TV audience to make sure they check out Netflix Atypical. It sounds like it is a very powerful portrayal. Like Angel said, it mixes comedy with a little drama and it just sounds like it's a very authentic portrayal of the parents who have like she said, kids who are born with extra struggles. So I definitely encourage everyone to check out that show.
Another little. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Another little piece that I do love about this show is that even though the main family is an entire white family, the husband, the wife, the kids, they're all white, what they really do good at is casting diversity in the guest stars. Like, they could have easily had my character be a white woman with a white child or a biracial child, but they do really good at being like, okay, there's roles coming up. We need to show some diversity in this world. Like, can't everybody be white? Is
right.
basically. And
exactly.
That's something in the season when I watched the season, I was like, oh, he Latino, okay. Because in the first season, I can say this because it's already out. The wife has an affair. She has an affair with a Latino man. They could have easily made it somebody white. The daughter, her best friend's a black girl. Her track coach is a black guy. I feel like they do a good job of poking in people of color where they could completely make the world as snow white as they wanted to.
Exactly.
So I do appreciate that on a whole nother scale. I do. I can get behind that. I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm here for this. Yeah,
so,
there are people of color in your world.
So what I was going to say, this which actually brings up to my next question. Can you tell the Black Talent TV audience when not only Angie Tribeca airs, but can you also give us when Netflix's Atypical will air?
Oh, listen, I wish I knew. I feel like Atypical is going to come out in the fall, like September. I feel like it's going to come out. Angie Tribeca has got to be coming out soon. So I think it's also a fall release because Angie Tribeca has been gone for at least, it's about to be a full year. So they typically don't have a show gone for longer than that. So I'm assuming as well that it's about to come back in August, September. So hopefully I'll have like a bunch of blasts be like, watch me on this show tonight and watch me on this show.
I love it. Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, we will definitely here at Black Talent TV. We'll be checking it out. I cannot wait to see you on Angie Tribeca. Like I said, it's definitely one of my favorite shows. And yes, it definitely is time for it to come back on. It's been almost a year. You're definitely right. So I'm definitely excited for that. And I definitely will be checking out Typical on Netflix. Sounds really powerful. And it just sounds like it's a show that definitely needs to have, like you said, more attention. And so whatever, Black Talent TV audience family can do to support it, we'll definitely support it.
Yay, please, and thank you.
No problem. Angel, I have to say, it has been an absolute pleasure to be talking with you. It has been great. I really enjoy your personality and your energy. That's why I can't wait to see you on all these different shows you'll be on, just to see the talent be able to shine through. But it's been really great talking with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hitting me up. I'm so glad this worked out. I was like, oh, yes, of course I'll do the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's what we here at Black Talent TV here is for. We want to give, platform and voices, to those people who we feel deserve. Not only just deserve, but really needs to have that attention. Like you said, Atypical needs more attention, and we feel like the actresses like yourselves who definitely need more attention, not just because of the followers, but because of the genuine talent that you have. So,
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Everyone, make sure you check out Miss Angel, Laketa Moore. When I have Angie Tribeca on my mind so bad. It's like, when is that show coming back on? I wanted to come back on. She said Angie, and that's all I can think of it now. It's like, that show needs to come back on. But everyone, make sure you follow Miss Angel Laketa Moore on Instagram. Make sure you check her out on her podcast with her husband. Sounds like it's It's really great. Make sure you guys check her out when Netflix Typical airs, and of course Angie Tribeca. We cannot wait to see her on those shows. Like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Angel, and I'm just so glad you took the time out to come down and talk to me. I so appreciate it, and like I said, I really appreciate you are funny, you are very humorous, just like me. So this whole podcast worked just beautifully. I was like, I feel like I found my funny soulmate here. So I definitely appreciate you for that. Definitely appreciate you for that. Everybody,
thank you.
No problem. Of course, everybody, you guys know I am your homegirl, Simone Jackson, always ready to bring you guys another great episode. Remember, if you guys like to interview or advertise with us here at Blacktown TV, make sure you guys hit us up at info@blacktowntv.com. We're always happy to hear from you guys, and make sure you guys also check us out on Instagram and hit us up whenever you guys can. But until then, Blacktown TV family, Miss Angel, till then, you guys have a beautiful day, and we will see you back soon. Bye.
Bye.